Right.
yeah.
I'm here at ITV Studios with Lorraine Kelly to talk about her career. Are you alright?
I'm very well. It's lovely to see you again. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah.
Good.
You originally planned to study languages at university.
Yeah.
What made you change your mind and apply for the trainee journalist scheme?
Well, I was always really interested in journalism, and I knew that that's what I really wanted to do. But you know, it's always good to have a plan B. So I did French and Russian at school, and I sort of thought that was the way I was going to go. So I got the university place, but then a job came up on the East Kilbride News as a trainee reporter. I was about nearly 17 at the time, so maybe 16. And I went for it, and I got it, and I was so excited about getting the job. And then I had to go and tell my mum and dad that I wasn't going to university, which was a big deal because I would have been the only one in the family to have gone to university at that time. And that was a big deal. Working class households wanted the picture on the mantelpiece, you know, the funny hat and the scroll. That they wanted it. But, you know, so I think they were quite disappointed.
Yeah.
They didn't say anything because they were very good like that. They were never pushy. But yeah, it was just something that I'd always wanted to do, but I didn't really expect to be able. I always thought people like me never got into the media. Do you know what I mean? It was always, for me, it was always like you had to be university educated or posh, or your dad had to work there or something. So I was quite. It was great. It was a great job. I was there for about 5 years. It was best possible training. Best training you could get. You should do everything.
Yeah, you got trained in poker as well, didn't you?
I got trained in poker.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Do you still play?
I do no longer play poker. But yes, we used to play poker. The paper used to go to bed on a Wednesday, and that was in the days of hot metal. I mean, I was still 2 fingers on a typewriter, bits of paper. Didn't have the internet. It was not even a glint in someone's eye. And yeah, we used to play poker on a Wednesday afternoon with vast quantities of really cheap red wine. It was a joy. Best job in the world.
Sounds lovely.
It was great.
That's the training.
It was really good. I know. It was right. I got too good at the poker. They stopped playing it.
Really?
Yeah, I get
So since you started the scheme, what would you say has been the biggest change in journalism?
Definitely the internet, absolutely. I mean, before it used to be, it was a job where, you know, I was working in local newspapers and doing shifts on nationals, that you had to go out and get the story. I mean, there wasn't, you know, now you just Google something. But if you needed to find something out, you had to phone somebody and find it out. You would do your checks in the morning. I was always do my checks with the police, the fire brigade, all the sort of blue lights. You know, you do that to find out what was going on. You met people a lot more. You had relationships with people. You made friends with people. You met people in the pub.
Yeah, it was going.
It was a very outgoing job. Whereas now, you can actually be a journalist and not actually talk to anybody, which is crazy because I think you have to in order to do it properly. But certainly that has been a massive, massive change. And also the fact that when I first started working as a correspondent in telly, that's what I did. I just concentrated fully on getting the story, getting the interviews. You really concentrated on that. Now people have to be VJs. You know, and they have to do everything. So they're busy making someone up, and they're doing the shots, and they're doing everything, and that's. I personally don't think I could have done that back then.
Really?
And I think it takes away, in some ways, of course it's brilliant to have all these skills, and you should have all these skills, but sometimes you're so busy concentrating on, you know, have you done a white balance, have you done all these things, that maybe you can forget some crucial item of the story. That's the only thing I would say. But having said that, of course, you know, I'm in awe of people that do everything.
Do you think it's good that people aren't just specialised in one thing?
I think I do, and it kind of. I mean, it depends what sort of journalism you're doing. I think personally, if you're doing really hardcore investigative journalism, then yes, and you do a lot of undercover, you know, filming, then yes, that absolutely can work. But sometimes, you know, specialists are better. It depends what you're doing. If you're doing something that's really high quality, or you're doing a really good documentary, I think you've got to have your crew there, so that they can concentrate on what they do and you concentrate on what you're doing.
You've talked in the past about your teacher, Miss Spears.
Oh yeah.
And how she was helping you, encourage you to be creative.
Yeah.
Do you think that helped you be able to do a show like Lorraine?
Definitely. I think teachers are so important, and there's teachers that stay with you. And Miss Spears has stayed with me. I mean, we still send each other Christmas cards. She's been to see the show. She's an amazing woman, and I can't believe that, you know, she must be almost 80 now, which is ridiculous. She's so young at heart. And she really was a huge influence. And I think if you get a good teacher, and you get a teacher who can encourage you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in something that you then go on to do, but if they just encourage you to be interested in everything, and confident as well, and to say you can do this. You know, don't count yourself out of that because you think you're not able to, or you're not good enough, or you're not rich enough, or whatever. You know, to make sure that you give it a go, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, to get you out that mindset of
teachers are so important.
Yeah,
so important.
What was it like when the BBC told you that your accent was too Scottish?
They'd have said that to you as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted because I was working from the East Kilbride News. I went to the BBC.
Yeah.
I applied for every job at the BBC. I applied for a job as a farming correspondent in Aberdeen. I didn't even know what end of a cow was in all that. I had no idea. I was brought up in the Gorbals, it's not exactly pastoral. So, but I just kept trying, hoping, fingers crossed. And then they did give me a job as a researcher, and they used to send me out to do vox pops, just out talking to people about what they thought of the issue of the day. And I would go out and talk to nuns and police officers and parking attendants. 9 times out of 10 I get told to naff off, but then I would get that one time I'd get a great interview. And then I knew there was a job going as a reporter, and when I get called into the boss's office and he just had these glasses, I'll never forget it, put them down like that. You'll never read television unless you have elocution lessons. And I thought, well, that's not me, and I probably, no, I couldn't have done that. My family would have been mortified, and it just wouldn't have worked.
I can't imagine that happening today.
Are you talking like that today? Good morning.
It'd be so different, wouldn't it?
It'd be ridiculous, and then in the heat of the moment you would lose it anyway, and it'd be daft. So, but the good thing was, as all these things do, it just so happened the next day I heard there was a job going at TVAM, and I had the balls to go for it because I thought, what have I got to lose? Because it's not going to happen here. It's not going to happen at the BBC. So I'll try it. So actually, didn't make the biggest favour in the world. Didn't think at the time. I was absolutely crushed. And then again, we've all got that, and I certainly have, that sort of working class cringe thing where you don't think you're good enough. So when somebody in that position of authority tells you that you're not, that is soul destroying. And it took a lot to bounce back. So luckily I got the job at TVAM, and that was great.
Do you think that this kind of discrimination still happens? Or
what class? Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know, and quite rightly, we focus on things like racism, as we should, and it being a level playing field for everybody, no matter whether you're a man, a woman, whatever you identify as, or whatever your religion or your race is, or colour your skin. It shouldn't matter, but I think people forget about class. I really do. I think they forget about it. And there was a time when it was quite fashionable to be from somewhere like the Gorbals or the East End of London, and that's going out of fashion again, which is ridiculous because it shouldn't matter about what fashion is. It should, who's the best person for the job?
They get it.
Give them the job.
Definitely.
But class in Britain, absolutely.
What was the biggest change from when you went from Scotland to London?
The biggest change, I think, was that it's a culture thing. I would come down and I would get the bus or the underground, or I'd be walking around and I would be talking to people, and you would get nothing. And in fact, sometimes there would be a sort of drawing of skirts, sort of like, oh, who's this incredibly odd person that's talking to me in the bus queue? Whereas at home, everybody talks to everybody, especially in Glasgow.
It's the same in Newcastle.
Of course it is. You're just past the time of day. You're standing at the bus stop, it's the days before phones, so everybody now's on their phone. And you talk. Whereas down here, I found that quite strange. And there was at first a little bit of, patronising because you're from somewhere that's not London. It's different now because there are so many people in London who aren't from London that it's not like that anymore. But I did find it, I found it quite lonely actually. I was quite lonely because I was doing a job where I was up really early in the morning, so it was quite hard to make friends. But I did eventually. You do, of course you do.
Because then they end up having the same kind of patterns.
Of course you do. But it was hard at first.
Yeah, I found that when I came down, when I'm on the tube smiling at someone.
They just think you're a nutter.
They think you're nuts. They're looking, you can tell what they're thinking.
Who's that person smiling at me? Get off.
I was doing it on the way in. But in Newcastle, if you do that on the metro,
people talk.
Yeah.
People go, hey, are you? What are you up to? What's happening? And what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Rotten weather, whatever.
Definitely. You worked on different stories. What would be the story that stuck with you the most?
Oh gosh, I think, to be honest, probably the one that really affected me most was Dunblane. Because it was so close to home. And so, I couldn't believe that it had happened. I still can't. It still feels really, really strange. And I got very involved in that story. But this is where I think a show like GMTV and GMB as it is now, lots of name changes and regime changes, but essentially the show is the same. I got very, very friendly with one of the girls, one of the mums whose daughter had been murdered, and she just wanted to see me because she'd seen me on telly, she felt it was a connection, she wanted to talk to somebody who wasn't directly involved, and I get that. So I went to see her the next day, the day after it happened, and we just sat and talked about our kids. My Rosie was only 2, I think, at the time, 2.5, and she had a little girl, Alison. We're still friends now. Alison's grown up now, she's a mum of her own, but we remain friends. But when I said to my boss at GMTV, this is really private and we can't So absolutely.
Oh, that's good.
And I don't know that would happen anywhere else, if I'm
Yeah.
honest with you, but because of that sort of relationship that we have with the viewers, and the way that she asked for help, which was because she'd seen me on the show.
Yeah.
And we just clicked, and there was no question that would be used.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of, and maybe I'm out of step with everyone else. I know a lot of journalists would have probably used that and wanted to do more and had it on camera. But I just felt it was too raw and it wouldn't have been fair to put pressure on her like that. She just needed somebody to listen to her.
Yeah, she just wanted
And we have, and the testament to that is that we've remained friends. I mean, I see
that's
a lot.
really nice.
You know, she's an amazing woman. I don't know how she managed to get over that. She's one of the bravest, strongest women I know. Extraordinary lady.
That must be a story that has really stuck with you.
Terrible.
In 1997 you started your talk radio show.
Yeah.
What's the difference between radio and TV?
Well, you don't have. You have to paint pictures with your words, I guess, when you talk radio. It's a much more intimate relationship with the listener, I think. What I loved about doing talk radio was that you can really go into something in depth. I mean, that's the one frustration about my job, is that generally you've only got 7 minutes to talk to someone, 8 minutes maybe. And people think that it's very relaxed, and it should be. I mean, it is relaxed. In my ear they're saying you've got 3 minutes to 1, and you've got to somehow, there's nothing worse at the very end of the show when I know I've got to get out, I can't overrun. And someone goes, let me tell you this anecdote, and I think, we've got 15 seconds, so I've got to somehow kind of get out of that. But that's the job, and that's fine. You get used to that. It's okay. But that's what I loved about radio, and the range of subjects that we could cover, and that there are subjects that work very well in radio that wouldn't necessarily work so much on TV. So but I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the experience. I'd love to do more radio.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'd love to do more, for sure.
What's been your personal career highlight?
Oh my goodness, that's really hard. So many highlights, so many. Talking to Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon. I never got a chance to meet Neil Armstrong. I did interview his son, who was amazing last year with the big celebrations. That was incredible. And then last year for my 60th birthday, my team got me a zero gravity flight. So I went up and did the zero G. That was amazing. And then I had this. I went to NASA and they gave me a private tour of NASA. And they gave me a spacesuit, not the big spacesuit you're walking in, but the sort of like the little suit, and it had my name on it. And when I wouldn't take it off, and I went back to the hotel, and this wee lady got in the lift, and she said, "Are you an astronaut?" And I was with my husband, and he's like, rolling his eyes. I'm like, yes, I am.
I've been up on them.
Just got back, and that was amazing. That was just yes.
Just a pinch me moment.
It really was. It's great.
Who's been your you've just answered the favourite person to interview.
I guess, Buzz Aldrin was amazing. I just kept looking at him and thinking, oh my god, you've been on the moon. This is crazy. Also, I know, it is nuts. He was great. He was so good. Tom Hanks is always a joy.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman's always a joy, because they understand that it's part of their job to do interviews, and they want to make it as fun as they can for themselves, for me, for everyone else around them, and it's a joy. It's when you get guests who maybe they didn't particularly like the movie, but it's part of their contract, they've got to talk about it, and they can be a real pain in the bum. Like Bruce Willis is notorious, he doesn't like doing interviews, and it's not a pleasant experience, and I wouldn't do it again, frankly. Kevin Spacey was horrible. It was before all the allegations, but he was not a nice person. I don't know whether he got out of bed the wrong side, or maybe that's just the way he is, but that's an eye-opener. But it's always interesting to see how people treat the person that's bringing them a cup of tea, the person that's doing their hair, the person that's taking care of them, and how they respond to that. And someone like Hugh Jackman is like, makes everybody feel great. You walk into the corridor, you can just the atmosphere is just brilliant. And he sets the tone, and that's what that's important, because he sets the tone. If he's in charge, if he wants to be a complete arse, everybody has a crap time, including him. But he would never do that.
But if it's nice, then all the crew are having a good time.
Absolutely.
And the interview just flows a lot better.
Everybody's happy.
And you can tell when you're watching it home, you can tell.
Of course you can. Of course, it's not like a chore.
Do you find it challenging to always be interested in the different segments on the room?
It's not so much a challenge. I mean, there are things that we've done again and again and again, but there's always what I love about the job is every day is different. I am always interested in things. I'm very curious, and I always remember I went to a lecture with Michael Palin. Michael Palin was the speaker. It was at the Royal Geographic Society. I felt very grown up, very grown up indeed. And he was talking about that, and I loved the way he talked about what makes us human beings is our curiosity about everything. He happened to be talking about exploration in the South Pole, but it can go for anything, whether you're interested in fashion or what Harry and Meghan are up to, or what's going on in Syria, or what's happening. It's all you should be interested in all things.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. So it's the perfect job for me, because every day there's a new, there's something new to find out.
Yeah,
there's always something new to find out.
You can see that as being a viewer as well when you're
sure.
actually interested
Oh,
in
absolutely.
questions that people want to know.
Yeah, otherwise you can't do it.
Yeah.
And I think I don't ever see it happening, but I've seen other presenters getting dead behind the eyes.
Yeah.
And you think, well, if you're not bothered, why should I be bothered? And if I ever got like that, I doubt I would. That's the time when you toddle off.
Yeah. You've always been open about your love for Coronation Street.
Yes.
How was it when you got asked to appear in episode?
I was like probably the worst, most wooden actress ever in the history of acting. That was brilliant. That was like crawling inside my TV set. I mean, I got to see all the backstage stuff, and although we didn't film it on the street, we filmed it away from there. I got ready on the street, and it was great because the wardrobe department is enormous, and they've got rails and rails of clothes. This is for Rita, this is for Fez, this is for Dave, this is for Steve McDonald, and it was just really great to see all
Lorraine
that.
section.
No, gosh. And I had to have 2 pairs of trousers because one pair I had a hole in it for the arrow, and then the other pair was normal. I know that was a joy. That was one of those experiences you just think, wow.
Another pinch me moment.
Wow, it was great, and they were all lovely. Oh, they were just so lovely. I don't know how they do it. I really don't, because it's like not just the actors but the crew and everything. It's just relentless. There's so many episodes that they have to keep it on their heads. Oh, don't know how to do it. Mad.
And finally, what are you most looking forward to in 2020?
Most looking forward to it? Well, my daughter, who is in Singapore, is hopefully coming home. She loves it over there, but I think she just wants to have maybe a couple of years here before she goes back over. And that would be amazing. Not putting any pressure on her. If she wants to do it, that would be great. And just more of the same, really. I love what I do. We've changed our time from 9 till 10 now, which again just gives everybody a little bit more energy. It's a new challenge. We don't know. It's obviously we want it to be hugely successful. So far, so good. The numbers have been great, and I'm very lucky to work with a really young, talented team who are, who sometimes are in here for like far too many hours. They work really, really hard, and they keep, the atmosphere is always really good, and they keep me really interested, and it's it's great. It's really good.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of
your
schedule.
It's lovely to see you.
Yeah, lovely.
Cheers.